So last night it was announced that Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, passed away. Now, I don't really talk about Dragon Ball that much, and this isn't going to be a monetized video or anything like that. This is more so just going to be me reminiscing about my experience with Dragon Ball and growing up with it and all of that. And if you guys are wondering, no, my eyes are not red because I was crying. My eyes are red because I had an allergic reaction. Yeah, this reads like a manga panel straight out of Dragon Ball. However, my hair, I woke up with this. I woke up like this like earlier, and I am wearing my Goku hoodie. It's like one of the only clothes I have left of Goku. I don't have many Dragon Ball clothes, unfortunately. I know this isn't like the usual video, and a lot of people are probably waiting for a video from me, but I kind of just want to talk about this. I don't know. This series, its creator, how I've seen it in literally everything else, how it's grown to like a mythological kind of height in terms of how well it's known, hits different. And I think Dragon Ball is what influenced me to kind of create. And by create, I mean just like I used to draw as a kid. I used to want to be an artist. I used to want to be a mangaka. And I don't think I ever really gave up on that. I still draw. I think I'm really good at color theory, apparently. According to my artist friends, the way I understand color is really good. Dragon Ball is really what sparked my love for art and all of these things. I still have like, I used to own the whole manga. And these are the last, at one point, I think I was a kid and I pissed my mom off, and she's like, she sold all my volumes, and these are the only 3 I got to keep, and one of them is the final volume where Goku says thank you, goodbye. And like the first thing that, like, when I open my drawer to find this, and this is the first thing I find after hearing about Akira Toriyama's passing last night, man, it hit different. Now, if you guys don't know, he actually passed away on March 1st, but it wasn't announced until yesterday. The reason for this is probably because they wanted to respect the family. The internet like completely exploded. Like pretty much everybody was saying something. Oda, the creator of One Piece, said something. Kishimoto, the writer of Naruto, came out and said something. They were like close friends with him, apparently. They literally said that he called us friends, and he was like our mentor. And this person, Audrey, she translated a more accurate translation of what Oda had to say, and his final line really hits different. Like you can tell like they were close from just reading it, and how in many ways Toriyama really sparked Oda's love for manga and how he transformed manga into what it is today. And the final line from this is, may the heaven he envisioned be the most joyous place for him. Fuck, I didn't know how to cry about this. Like I would get teary-eyed, but I wouldn't cry, and I think it's because Dragon Ball is so grand now. It's so much bigger than just that I don't know how to cry about it. I don't know how to process it. Slightly future me editing this, I think the best way I can put it is because maybe what he left behind isn't dead. Like, it'll never be forgotten. He left so much behind that he almost still feels like he's here. It doesn't feel like he's gone. And I think that's the part that is like kind of difficult for pretty much everybody. We don't know how to process that he's gone because it doesn't feel like it. His presence permeates everything. He'll literally never be forgotten. It's probably like just complete shock for a lot of people. I feel like when I am going to do this, when I go back through Akira Toriyama's career, like not just Dragon Ball, like literally everything. I've never played Chrono Trigger. I own Dragon Quest, but I've never really gotten into the series. I know about Sandland, and I've never read them or interacted with them. I've only ever known him truly through Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball is what I grew up on when I was a kid. Like Dragon Ball is kind of what got me through like what life was. Like if you guys don't know, I used to live in a third world country. Thanks to Dragon Ball, like I got the ability to dream, I got the ability to escape. Like I think one of my biggest moments was from Dragon Ball Z when Goku does the Kaioken ×4 Kamehameha. Like I know it sounds goofy and silly, but Dragon Ball, like as I've been like reading through it again and like watching videos from a creator I really love, Totally Not Mark, I realized like there's a lot more themes and ideas in there that I never processed, like how well Dragon Ball is actually written, how well it's choreographed and presented. Like the panel work that Akira Toriyama uses for Dragon Ball is like permeates all of your favorite like shonen manga. It's even past shonen. You can see it in other things. Heck, Hunter x Hunter to Togashi, he's a huge fan of Dragon Ball, like probably like one of the biggest fans, and he takes a lot of inspiration. I remember a long time ago I heard how the creator of Naruto, Kishimoto, would like listen to Dragon Ball music, and he had like a Frieza statue next to him as he was working, and this is what kept him motivated. Like, Dragon Ball isn't just important to the manga industry, it expands to like literally everything else. And I know I'm just kind of like ranting. Like I was gonna say earlier, like how I love the ×4 Kamehameha so much that when they added like base Goku into Dragon Ball Fighters, I'm like, I'm gonna get good at this character just for this, because I love the ×4 like Kaioken. Kaioken was like the coolest shit to me. Like I love Super Saiyan, but Kaioken, that was the coolest shit to me. I never got good at Fighters. I think Fighters is like that game that I just never got good at. Dragon Ball like carried me through a lot, and I think when I lost Dragon Ball, like when I stopped thinking like Goku, thinking of like the positivity and just being like who I am, I actually got really depressed. And I only recently kind of reclaimed that, but through a new perspective, through like just enlightenment, if you will. I just sat down, I figured myself out, figured out what I wanted to be. And of course I still get afraid, but I kind of want to live by like the last line he says in this book, where Akira Toriyama says, "Tackle life with as much energy as Goku, and I'll try to do the same." Like there's a lot of good mottos in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball honestly aged really well. It's like a lot of people probably nitpick and criticize it. I remember I was watching Trash Taste, and like the boys were just nitpicking and criticizing it. And I'm like, it really just sounds like you guys haven't read it in ages. Like you're just talking out of your ass. You're living up to the name of your channel. But Dragon Ball itself, like Dragon Ball NZ, honestly aged fantastically. With that being said, we have apparently what is Akira Toriyama's final project, which is Dragon Ball Daima. I think that's like the last thing he actually worked on. There's also Sandland, which is a video game like based on I believe a manga he wrote or something along those lines. I haven't interacted with much of his stuff, and I think over this time, like maybe once I finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna sit down and go through like all of my experiences with Akira Toriyama and like everything he's been through. And this is really weird for me, like just to highlight like how weird this is for me. Like when Kentaro Miura passed away, like a lot of people were like sad and crying and all of that. And I felt a little sad, but I never connected with Berserk like I connected with Dragon Ball. Like when I saw this, when I heard the news, I froze like a deer in headlights. I was just like, what? And like my heart sank. Like I was happy. I had just like beat something in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like they had these stupid mini games that are really hard, and I beat it. And I'm like, yeah, like I powered through it. I listened to like some Tekken music. I was really hype. And I turned to my computer and I go to Twitter, and I see someone posted this, and I thought it was a lie. I'm like, there's no way Akira Toriyama doesn't die, right? Like it's that ingrained in me. He's that like kind of mythological figure. It's like it feels like, you know, Kami died or something, right? I got the news like right as it happened. That's how jarring it was. I got it like right as it happened. Then my entire feed is just people paying respect to him and like how much of an influence he was to them. And honestly, it reminded me how much of an influence he was to me. And I know I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but I just kind of want to put my feelings out there. You know, live like Goku. Just say it. Just say what you want to say. I really felt like deep in my heart I wanted to make this, and I know it's not going to be perfect. I don't think it can be, honestly. I don't want this to be perfect, because it's through imperfection we find our perfect selves, and I don't want this to be perfect. I just want this to be my raw emotions of just me talking about this. I'm not gonna be able to just cry. Like you can maybe hear a little bit of my voice, like just kind of crackling and stuff, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to cry because I don't know how to process his passing. He's too big. He's always been there. Everybody jokes about Goku all the time. The Hispanic community is probably in fucking shambles because they love Goku so much. Like, Goku transcends nations. He transcends culture. He just transcends everything. Like, Dragon Ball doesn't matter. Like, just to give you like an example of like how big Goku is, my mom doesn't give a shit about anime, manga, any of that stuff. She doesn't know anything. She gets Kingdom Hearts confused with like half of the anime I watched. And I mentioned Dragon Ball to her, and she immediately said to me, "Oh, you mean the spiky haired dude who turns blonde and like powers up?" And I'm like, she just knew. She just knew, and she remembered like I used to watch it as a kid. She introduced me to it as a kid. She used to buy me toys. Like, I remember I used to have toys. I used to like draw Goku. I would go like back when like early internet days, like 2004 or something, I would go on the internet and I would like look at these weird sites, like weird Dragon Ball sites, and I would find a picture of Goku and I would try to draw him. And if you guys couldn't tell, like, my name is Johan, and I remember when I first moved to the United States, like, people would always tell me, "Oh, is your name Johan because you're Gohan?" And it's like, that was a part of that was there, a part of that wasn't intentional. The reason my name is Johan is because it's a translation of my actual name, and my actual name is based on John the Baptist. So when you translate it into English, it can be John, or it could be any other form of John, and Johan is another form of John. So I just called myself Johan. Like, my music teacher would compare me to Bach, my high school friends would compare me to Gohan, and ironically, Gohan was my favorite character growing up. Like, Goku was the shit, Gohan was also the shit. Like, I even posted like how Gohan's design is like one of my favorites. This person like made a post. It's like, post your favorite Toriyama designs if you have one, video games or not. And like, mine are like Trunks, Bulma. Like, I couldn't find a good version of this one. I was like looking desperately for a good version of this one, but I couldn't find it. But this Bulma design slaps. I love Android 18. Like, let's not get that wrong. Android 18, holy shit. And of course, Teen Gohan. Bro, Teen Gohan hits different. People like compare him to like Final Fantasy VII Cloud's old model, and I see it. I think it was by accident though. I don't think it was intentional, because Cloud from Final Fantasy VII was actually inspired by Miyamoto Musashi. He's not actually inspired by Gohan, and Nomura has never come out and said like, "Oh yeah, I was inspired by Gohan." Now the model in game, the pixelated model could be. I think when you condense the design, you can kind of see it. Like, for sure, it's definitely there. But I think it's more of an accident. It's more of a coincidence, and that makes it even more perfect. You know, like whether it was a direct inspiration or not, I don't know. And yeah, I like you can tell, I'm just kind of ranting. I'm just kind of putting my emotions out there. I love Dragon Ball. I know it has flaws. I know like the Kid Buu saga was just goofy as hell, but it definitely felt more akin to like original Dragon Ball. I think that's the brilliance of Akira Toriyama for me, is that he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care if he's goofy and silly. He names his characters after like appliances and food, and people eat it the fuck up. I love that he's just silly and goofy, and that's the embodiment of who he is. He didn't let other people define him. He was just him. Even if it meant being silly, goofy, and utterly fucking ridiculous. And that's the best part of Akira Toriyama. It's like, for all the criticism you can give him, he probably knew. He probably knew and just didn't care. He had fun with it. And I think that's like one of the best ways to live life. Thank you, Akira Toriyama. Thank you for influencing my life this much. Thanks for just being there when I needed someone. Like, Dragon Ball was my friend when I didn't have friends. Well, there you go. I'm actually getting teary-eyed now, by the way. It's actually, yeah, it's definitely getting there. Cry on camera or anything. I just wanted to celebrate this man, to celebrate how he lived, the memories we made with him. Dragon Ball is more than just like a product. It's an experience. It's something you experienced and grew up with, and you know. And when you go through Dragon Ball, when you live through it like we did, for the time of the internet, we had something to share through Dragon Ball. In simple terms, he gave us a dream. He left us a dream that we could all do something. He inspired a generation to be more, to do more, to believe that they can be more. And it's the reason we have One Piece. It's the reason like One Piece is all about freedom and dreaming and believing, and Luffy is keeping other people's dreams alive. It's because that's what Dragon Ball did for Oda. For him, his dream was to create manga and spread manga all over the world. And the reason One Piece is what it is because of Dragon Ball and Akira Toriyama. The same thing for Naruto. Naruto wouldn't be what it is now. Naruto wouldn't be as popular. We wouldn't have what we have without him. Okay, I'm gonna stop being sentimental. I keep telling myself I'm gonna end the video and then I have like 20 more things to say, so I'm just gonna stop here. Thank you, Akira Toriyama, and rest in peace. Thanks for everything. I'll see you guys later, and remember, let's mosey.